Right, we're back at the rewrite. It's day 3. Sort of half a day behind. Yesterday, Mikey from Residual Current, which is here from Loadout, did some filming over here for Unilight. We did some product placement, some plug stuff, some general questions about me and the products or my life in general, about petitions, tool theft, loads of stuff you'll see coming out very soon. So we would mess around with that so much. It put me a little bit behind, but it was great to catch up with Mike. I didn't realize as well, Mike is the first electrical YouTuber as well to get over 1 million views on a long form content video. So that is absolutely sick. Hopefully I can get there one day. But Mike's gonna start producing some content soon and we're gonna do some collabs, me down with him with commercial, him up here with some domestic. Got some new trousers finally. My other half of them picked them up yesterday from the wholesaler. It's those Snickers fluorescent green ones that I had, detested them. So if you're looking at getting some, don't get them because they've got horrible buckles on the ankles and they drive you insane. I'm gonna do a few things different with this one. Obviously we're doing some chasing, which is the usual stuff, but I'll hold the camera up here then. But what I'm gonna do differently is this. So we've got our stuff set out as usual, extended the lines across this, that and the other. We've got a data one going in, we've got a double socket, we've got a chase for the data, double socket. But if I just, that's right, I've realized even use the step at such a small point, it saves the knees. I use that to cut the laser. I've drawn on the center points for where the screw holes are going because I have had to play with the ones downstairs a bit where you hit a mortar line and then once you've chased a lot of the brick out, it turns around and it is awkward. So I'm going to pre-drill as many holes as I can now and hopefully once I chase it out, we can then just put the plug straight in and it will be perfectly in line. So we've got one double socket of data, another double socket here, another double socket there, one over there, and then one over here. And then we've got ourselves a 35mm box for the lighting. I've set this one up. Every light switch is 1 box width away from the edge of the door frame to here. But because they're 35mm boxes and the walls aren't very thick, this is the only one that's been spaced across double because I know for a fact 35mm here. And, well, we'll be making a tunnel through the wall and we don't want that, so that one's stepped out. Same thing with here. The carpet has been pulled into a square, in situ, left on the gripper rods there, so if we need to turn around and put the cable back and put the carpet back at some point, it's very easy to do. Very simple step. But then the last one, so what is going to be the office, we've got a mammoth task of all the datas are coming out in this bottom corner, so we've got a big box going in there. We're bringing datas up, full chase down with all the datas, bringing 2 datas into the loft. We've then got 2 double sockets there, coming up to 2 double sockets there, coming up to 2 double sockets there, to 2 double sockets there, to a double socket there, and then across here, 2 double sockets and a data. So my plan is for doing the cable runs, which I will show you in a little bit, is we're gonna come from this one up, across, up, hit these, back down, and here, try and keep that as neat and as best as possible to use our zone-ins for the sockets. And yeah, so carpets up in each room, let's get at it. I think somehow I've managed to knock the laser level as well. That's good, isn't it? But by the looks of it, this one, the bricks, goners. So yeah, we'll put this one in and see if it's actually worked and if it's worth doing on all the other ones. Right, realistically, is that any easier? Yes, if the brick was different, I would say, being this breeze block style stuff, you say being blown out and whatnot, and equally, the drill bit wasn't quite deep enough for the last one. I had to go through a bit more unless it got stuck with a bit of stuff. But in theory, yeah, it's good, but at the same point, I haven't got my washer box with me because we can alter it a lot easier if we put some washers on. Because these are countersunk the way they are as a V, if the plug is ever so slightly out, because of the V, it will drag the box to where the V sits, this is where the screw is exactly going in. But we've got some washers on, we've got a bit wiggle room by a couple of mil to do it. So I'm going to put the all-round band on that, crack on with this, and then I'm gonna get all the chasings done, and then we're gonna all pick up the floors together and have a look, because I haven't done that. And also as well, when we went to quote this, the customer initially sent me a text and said, can we just have a couple of extra sockets here and there? We have found VIR cable everywhere yesterday, in the loft, running down the wall, coming out on all the lights. So yeah, definitely needed a full rewire. Right, so the last time you guys saw me was about, what was it, about 9:30. It's currently 1:30. I've done the majority upstairs, which I've run you through, which I'm really, really happy with. I've been round, tidied up at the same time with the mats, the hoover, yada, yada, yada. And I thought, I'm gonna film the last bit, which was this office room for you guys, because it's the most. Like, there's just loads of stuff going on in here. We've got the light hanging up, like, we've got loads of stuff. But as I was just doing this last chase to bring up loft power coming up, which is from this socket up here, I thought, well, why it's just not, the chase is not performing as it should. I can't, it was like I was hitting a piece of metal. So I kept getting out, kept checking it wasn't a pipe, putting it back. And my blade's just gone, like the middle central bit, because obviously it's 3 blades, the middle one here, has just lost all teeth, and it's like, it's terrible. It is terrible. I'll show you, because the problem is I've still got that room. I still have I've got 2 wall chases, and I've got a brand new spare blade. But like I said, I'm an hour away from home, and today's job was this. But we'll give it a go. This is the bringing the upstairs lighting power up, the smokes, and the 2-way switching. 35mm back box in there. We had to make sure we were being very careful with the screws. We're drawing them through on the angles, because at the same time here, when I used the nail gun, I used it and then went, oh, no, double check the other side. That in and up. We've got our double socket, double cat, socket, and then in here, brand new boiler feed. And this is what gets me. We've got a brand new boiler that's pretty, well, I say brand new, a couple of years old, and we've got our VIR cable feeding it all. So I've run a new one in here, stripped this off, so this will come down and flex straight to the bottom of that. So that's all done. So I can only presume, well, I'll give it a go and show you guys, but worst case scenario, because there's so many to chase in here, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 15 things to chase in here, and if the blade's gonna be knackered, I'd rather wait till Monday when I'm back, bring a fresh blade, and I just realised that looks like a really sad face on here. And I can pick the floorboards up, but let's give it a go. Unfortunately not. This has gone through like butter through everything, and I can try and show you it's just lost all of its outside grit. You've got a bit here, but the inside ones are just completely gone. Oh, that's so annoying. Otherwise I would have filmed me doing all the other rooms for you. It is what it is, these things happen. And I suppose I'll start picking some floorboards up. And so I've made sure I've swept up, got all the stuff up and whatever, which was incorrect of me really. I should have made a massive pile, took some floorboards up and swept underneath. It was a joke. That was a joke. So yeah, let me just move some stuff. Next thing what I'm going to do, because the customer, obviously from the job used to the post-it notes everywhere, has left loads on the side. So I'm utilising that for measurements of what we've got. So obviously I need to take the floorboards up upstairs. That's the next job we're going to do. But we need to make sure which ones we need to take up and measurements. So right now I've got the tape measure on the floor, as you can see here. From the far wall, which would be adjacent, same measurements upstairs. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chases that we need to find up there. So we've gone around with a notepad, put it on the floor, lined out where we need it to go, written the measurements down, and then I can go upstairs in a second, transfer the measurements on the wall, either with more sticky notes or a pen or a pencil, whatever. And then we know exactly where these are. I'm going to do that for everything downstairs, the wall behind you, the one in the hall, all that sort of stuff. And then we know exactly where we need to go. And then upstairs as well, we can already visually see which ones we need to do. But anything that really we're taking out on this back wall, we know we've got sockets there upstairs. We know we've got sockets there upstairs on the far wall. And then we can move through to the dining room. And then once we can figure out what we want to do with floorboards, we can figure out cable paths. I've got a lot of cat cables that we need to run as well. So we want to make sure we drill in separate holes, big enough, use the laser, get them in line, get it as neat and nicely as we can. It's an empty house with no carpets in. We can leave the floor up at night time, which is the biggest thing when we do occupy rewires, which we haven't done in a long time. You need to get the boards up, you need to get the stuff in, you need to get the board back down and hoovered and tidied and bedroom furniture back for the evening for the people to sleep or kids or anything for health and safety. Empty house, we can take our time, make it as best as we can. Right, the measurements are going to be slightly different because the wall behind you in the bedroom does not meet the adjacent wall downstairs in the hall. It's stepped back a little bit. Post-it note, I've just stuck in each room for measurements we need. So from this corner here, we've got a 600, a 750 and a 950. And we've got 260, which is going to be around. Right, as many as I can. This one, you can see the gas pipe that goes up, so. We've got 4 on this back wall, so we might as well have a mooch first. What we'll do is get as many of these up as we can and then just work our way back to the fuse board of where we need to go. Right, what a mess, loads of stuff in here. How much? Standard. I'll go in my little green cable bin. Alrighty then. Directly on our line, one there, one there, one there. So we've got 3 in a line, we've got 1 more behind you. I'm going to take that last board out. So this floorboard was wedged where it was sat, like it pinched itself underneath the skirting as well, and I don't want to rip the skirting off because it's all intact everywhere. So I've multi-tooled it out, but it's weird that I've never known the actual joist sit within the wall sort of thing. So exterior wall there. So what we'll do at the end of the job when we start finishing off, we'll screw a piece of CLS, bolt that really nicely, screw that really nicely to the joist, give it the support with the overlip, screw that down and it will get it nice and strong. So that's our last hole there. Right, so I found the most bizarre thing. I know the customer said to me when the plumber was doing stuff, there's a steel in that back room, and I thought it's fine. We'll figure a way around it. So I've just used the multi-tool up and down. I've got the stuff out for the chimney breast so I can access that. And then I was looking at it and the joists do seem excessively thin compared to other houses I've ever rewired. I thought, okay. And then I was just looking under the floors where we can do cable runs, access and everything. And right here is a steel, but it's a little steel that runs the full length. And all of these little joists that are thinner are sat with on it. So it allows, I presume, the joist to be thinner because you've got support here. But now I'm trying to think, if there's one here, which is a weird place for it to be, is there going to be now 5 other ones throughout the floor? So let me pick this floor up and we can have a look. Brilliant. So yeah, it's all sat on it. So we can either run the cables that way, or if we wanted to, we can sneak them under like they have done here, which is an issue because we've got RCD protection, everything like that, but ideally we wouldn't want to, but it just depends whether or not we're going to have to go all the way down there and figure out how to get back, whether or not there is steels the other side. But I presume if it's like this, it's going to be like this in every room. Little trick for you guys as well. I can't quite, because these joists are very, very thin, and I want to make sure I'm cutting to the most central part of the joist, is we've got this one here. We've just multi-tooled out either side, which you've just seen. This is our nail, this is our nail. So what we'll get is the multi-tool. As I push it down, I'm going to use the edge of the multi-tool here to hit the edge of the joist, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And once you've done that, we'll mark it with a pen, find the central point. We'll make a line, then it's not slipping off the joists. It's really nice for once as well, I can drill blind and cut blind with the multi-tool because all the pipe work is there and I can see it going that way and all the cables are dead anyway. So there's our steel there, and then we've also got that one up there. That is a clear route to the next room, and then over that side, that's the one steel in here. So the best route I can find is I'm going to go around the edge of all the rooms, tuck it under the steel as best I can either side, not run it through the middles, and go around each room. So I'm getting the back boards up, the side boards up to go through each room. I think that's the only way I can do it without drilling through the beams, because ideally I've got the drill bits. I could do some 25mm holes with the grommet and whatnot, but the age of the property, how thin the steels are as well, you don't want to compromise strength and structure. You know, like a video that someone put online years ago when they decided to chop loads of wood out of a timber frame house. We are sitting at 4:45, and like if this is the first time you watch this, about an hour away from home, and it is a Friday, so I've started wrapping up. I've spent a hideous amount of time cutting stuff up and find out I think there's 7 steels in the floor. But the purpose of this rewire, if you don't know why, is because everything was wired in VIR, vulcanized Indian rubber cable. It was all twisted together, as you can see, just there, fabulous. And I wouldn't say I've made a mistake. What I did with the quote is, if you go back to the original video of the quoting one, which is this one, is I put on their feed to kitchen because it had a new kitchen in the past couple of years. So I presumed, maybe it was silly foresight of me to say that it's had a new cable in at some point. It doesn't, so I've just spoke to the customer, ran through what we can sort of do. I'll run you down there now. Obviously this is going to be a different video that we're going to do, but not to damage anything. But yeah, the price is now gone up a little bit. We're going to have to run new cables to all of the kitchen and the cooker, and all the sockets underneath the cooker were all wired into the 32-amp cooker supply as well. So I've just checked the shower circuit because we weren't going to wire that, and that is newer cable. It's still older cable, but because I'm now actually going to end up rewiring the entire house, I'm just going to say to the customer, the pull cord's just on the other side of this wall. Just do another chase up, do a shower isolator on the outside if he's happy with that, and then we can push a new one in. If not, there's an airing cupboard just here on the back of the boiler. There's like a double airing cupboard. I can bring the cable up there, we can put the isolator in there, and that can go up down to the shower. So it would be a new supply in, and probably just leave the existing link from the pull cord across to the shower because it's all tiled, and I presume I can't pull any feeds through. So this is what I've been doing. We have got boards up everywhere. We found the walls for downstairs, the existing runs, and this is what me and Adam learned a few times. Our main run is from the board here across and through. I've took 2 boards up to allow me to do data one side and power the other. That will then split off where it needs to go. Top of the stairs, coming across, all the way across. Like I've said in previous videos, any floorboard is loose, pull up, have a look. Hence why we've just got that one up for the radiator pipes. More steels, more radiator pipes. I was very lucky earlier as well when I drilled down, because I was drilling blind when the carpet was down here, and I must have just missed the pipes. There's no damage and marks on it whatsoever, so absolutely fine. We've got the ones for downstairs there as well. You can see all the old VIR cable I've been cutting off as we've been going through into the floor. And then across here. So let's run you downstairs. But I've been sweeping, I've been hoovering, I've been dusting and picking all the nails up as we've been going along. And some guy years ago on one of my videos caught me. It was a time lapse. And you know when you multi-tool a floorboard going across and you get the little splice of wood that comes out, which is the tongue and groove. I'd snapped in half of stuff under the floor and I got pulled up on it. They were like, you've hoovered under the floor, but then you go and do that. I was like, yeah, I did. That is naughty of me, and I regret doing it. So I've been collecting the big pile there, snapping it into bits, keeping that all there. All the nails and screws I've been keeping here as well to bin later date. Least amount of stuff we chuck under the floor, the better. I have been hoovering bits as well, just to try and keep the dust down. So as you can see, this is a fairly new kitchen that's been done in the past couple of years, and it had all new socket fronts on. So when obviously I went to quote, I thought, oh brilliant, I've put a single socket up there and a single socket up there. That's allowing us to do smart switching for LED undercovered lights that the customer's requested. He's doing all that. But I thought, I couldn't see any new cables in the floor, so that's VIR coming across the cooker. That's VIR. We then had the 2.5mm that feeds the dishwasher off the 32-amp supply, and then that as well. So that's all coming out, but we need to do the best job we can do without damaging any tiles. There's also a socket down there. So what I'm going to try and attempt to do next week on another video is try and do all this without any damage, potentially from the other side of the wall, but make sure we're in zones, but you have to keep an eye out for that one. Anyway, I'm going to get the chaser from the unit. Have a good weekend. I hope you've all, at some point, I think you had a great weekend the weekend I've came out, and I've got hit a tash again. Fantastic. Right, have a great one, guys. Love you, bye. Also, like the video. Fantastic.